I love my BTS, man. Even white people know BTS now. That's progress. That's progress. I had a 15-year-old white kid come up to me trying to explain to me the different members of BTS. He was like, oh, this is Jungkook. He's kind of like the lead singer. And that's Jimin. He's really cool. And he also raps. I'm like, dude, they look the same to me. I didn't want to say it. I couldn't say it as an Asian person. But they all just look like me with pink hair. I can turn the whole show to a BTS concert right now. All right? Yeah, this is Jimmy. This is Jimin right here. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. Smooth like butter. No, I'm not gonna do that. I love my people, man. I love BTS. You guys probably heard in the news, they gotta go to mandatory Korean army. Right? The most popular people in the world. They gotta go sign up for Korean military. That's some gangster shit. Imagine how scared you'll be when you encounter BTS on the battlefield. You're in battle, you're already kind of shook. You're in a field of grass, and a little puff of pink hair just pops up. You're like, yo, what the fuck was that? Is that a unicorn? And then 6 more pink hair pop up. You're like, we're surrounded! And the last thing you see is just this. That's some gangster shit. My girl asked me, she was like, babe, what's your love language? I'm like, what? She's like, you know, your love language. Like, how do you convey love to your partners and loved ones? Like, for example, a love language could be words of affirmation. I'm like, words of affirmation? I was raised by Asian parents. I've never heard one word of affirmation in my life. Nobody ever told me, Jimmy, you're so great, you can do it. They're like, don't fuck it up. Their love language is verbal abuse. White people never brag about how much money they got. They always just brag about how expensive their life is. Like, oh, Joey just started private school. It's so expensive. And our remodel is totally going over budget. Oh, and you wouldn't believe how much money we spent going to Fiji. I'm like, okay, Katie, I see your life, okay? It's a luxurious. Good for you, okay. Black people, on the other hand, a lot more straightforward. Black people just tell you exactly how much money they spent on something. It's great. You guys seen it? Like my black friends or even like rappers, right? They love to brag. They're like, this car, 80,000. My mama's house, 500,000. This chain, $1 million, man. I'm like, okay, you clearly don't have your priorities straight. But I appreciate the honesty. People love to brag about how much money they spend. Asian people, on the other hand, we do the exact opposite. We love to brag about how little money we spent on some shit. Because the art is in the savings. You never pay full price. Like my mom, her catchphrase is, guess how much? Guess how much? Yeah, that's our people. I can't ask my venture capitalist girlfriend to make me a bento box. I'm not an idiot, I'm a sugar baby. I know my role. So instead of asking her directly, I just drop little hints. Like we'll be sitting on the couch together. I just pull out my phone and pretend I accidentally stumbled onto this video. I'm like, oh, what is this? Bento boxes? Oh my God, it's so cute. What is that, like a rice ball shaped like a panda? Look, 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 look. Wow, so she makes this every day for him? Wow, she must love him so much. I thought I was being slick until she came out to one of my shows. And she heard this joke. And she was really upset, man, and rightfully so. I was just up here talking shit, right? We went home, we got into a big fight. She was like, babe, that's bullshit, okay? If you want me to do something, why don't you just ask me directly? And if you really want somebody to make you bento boxes, why don't you just go find a Japanese woman? I'm like, babe, I'm sorry you feel that way, okay? But I think you're missing the point. You don't have to be Japanese to make bento boxes. That's right. So now I'm making her bento boxes every day. And then there's Rachel Brosnahan. Do you guys know who she is? Yeah. I love her. She plays the marvelous Miss Maisel. Great show, right? It's an awesome show. And I did a movie with her a few years ago, so I decided to say hi. I was like, oh my God, Rachel, it's so great to see you. Congratulations on everything. And she was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, okay, she probably just forgot who I was. I'm like, look, we did a movie like 6 years ago called Patriots Day. You were awesome in that movie. I just want to congratulate you on everything you've done so far. And she was like, oh, yeah, sure. And I'm like, oh, really? Is the marvelous Miss Maisel a bitch? But I wasn't gonna act out of pocket. I was there to represent. So I was very nice. I was just like, oh, it's okay. You just don't remember. Anyways, I just want to congratulate you for all the nominations on Marvelous Miss Maisel. You're awesome. And she was like, oh, I'm not Rachel Brosnahan. I'm Evan Rachel Wood from Westworld. And I was like, holy shit, I'm the racist person here. I think all white people look alike. Jon Snow was staring me down. I'm like, you're a bastard, you can't even stare. And I didn't know what to do, right? I was profusely sweating, my face was flush red. So I was just like, oh my God, I am so sorry. But either way, it's so nice to meet you. My name is Aquafina. And then all these guys with aggressive tattoos, and they just sweating in the kitchen. They're like, yes, chef, 2 minutes, it's still raw. And they're just making fucking scallops. There's 2 items on the menu and they can't even handle that shit. You go to any Chinese restaurant, there's about 485 items on the menu. And there's one dude back there in the kitchen. He's not even a chef, he's somebody's uncle from Hong Kong. And he knows how to make everything in under 30 seconds. That guy's the real hero, you know what I mean? He got a yellow wife beater that he brought from the old country. Just chilling near the wok, cigarette in his mouth, just like. That guy's a gangster, man. And he just cusses casually in Cantonese, just like. I can tell you what kind of Asian somebody is by the sound they make when they're disappointed. Disappointment is our strongest emotion. Whenever we get disappointed, our ancestor just comes out, and you can't hide that, you know? When Chinese people get disappointed, we're just disgusted. We don't even want to look at you. When you disappoint a Chinese person, they're just like, oh, you, shh. Like they just walked into a smoky room and they gotta clear it, just like, shh. Japanese people, when Japanese people get disappointed, they just wanna know why. They ask you a question. When a Japanese person gets disappointed, they're just like, eh? Eh? You can go disappoint a Korean person. I wouldn't recommend that. This Korean brother might fuck you up, okay? Korean people are intense, they're ready to fight. But they're my favorite type of people because they're very emotionally honest. A Korean person will let you know when they're disappointed. They're real guttural with it, you know what I mean? When you disappoint a Korean person, they're like, ooh! Shiba! But they're still very Asian, so they're still real polite. They'll thank you with that. And they're like, oi! Shiba-imida! You guys ever play Guess How Much? My mom would come home with something new, like a watch. She would be like, Jimmy, guess how much? Guess how much? I'm like, Mom, I don't know. It's a very nice watch, like $5,000. And she was like, no. It's $200. Jimmy, my house. This house, guess how much? Guess how much? I'm like, Mom, I don't know. You live in a very nice house, like $1 million? She was like, no. It's half off. Someone died in it. And if you know the rules of the game, you always guess high. So you make the other person feel good about their purchases. Never guess too low. If you ever guess too low, that's the ultimate insult to an Asian person, okay? One time my mom came home with some new shoes. I guessed too low. I've never seen her so disappointed in me. She was like, Jimmy, guess how much? Guess how much? I'm like, Mom, I don't know, very nice shoes, like $200. She was like, oh, you. Do you even know about shoes? These are $500 Jimmy shoes, okay? Better Jimmy than you. One night I came home early. My girl was having a girls' night at the house. I've never seen anything like that. The TV was off. 7 girls sitting in a circle, making direct eye contact with each other. Every candle in the house was lit. And I walked by, I'm like, what is this witchcraft? And I just backed into my own room. Fellas, we hang out different. Guys, when we hang out, we sit in a straight line. TV on full blast. 0 eye contact with each other. My girl came home early. She was so confused. She was like, babe, you guys didn't talk for like 6 hours. I'm like, yeah, isn't that fucking awesome? My dad's just from a different generation. He has like a weird beauty standard. Like for us, we just say things on very surface level, just like, oh, this person's attractive, this person's not, right? My dad would get into the weeds. My dad would give you all the weird details. He would be like, oh, she's beautiful. Very long arms. I'm like, what are you recruiting for a linebacker? What are you talking about? I can never get a pulse on who he thinks is attractive or not, right? One time I'm like, Dad, oh, she's really good looking. And my dad was like, no. Her mouth's too close to her nose. She cannot breathe. She cannot breathe. I see some of you guys look at your partner and it's like, is my nose too close? And that's exactly what an Asian parent does to you, you know? Make you self-conscious about shit you didn't even know about. The most embarrassing part was when we exited the stadium. When we exited Staples Center, there'll be hot dog street vendors out there, right? Latino brothers selling bacon wrapped hot dogs for $5. I love those things. And my dad would go up and haggle with them. He would go up and be like, okay, I give you $5 for 2 hot dogs. And I'm like, Dad, it's not buy one, get one free at Costco. Just give him 10 bucks. And he was like, shh, never pay full price. Okay, I'll give you $8 for 2 hot dogs, final offer. And the guy didn't care, he's like, no, it's $10. And then my dad, this is his strategy, he just announces in front of everyone, make sure everyone hears him. He's like, okay, we walk away. I'm like, Dad, I don't care. I don't think he cares if you walk away. Don't walk away, I'm hungry. He's like, Jimmy, it's better to be hungry than to pay full price. And then my mom comes up behind us with 4 hot dogs. And she was like, guess how much?